Tonight, you will erase something the world told you was impossible to erase. Not a number, not a bill, but the memory of lack. You've carried it for years, sometimes without knowing. That quiet tightening in your chest when you think about money. That whisper, it's not enough. It has followed you through every transaction, every plan, every dream that asked for too much. And yet, all of it began in imagination. Neville once said, "The world is yourself, pushed out." So if the world is showing you debt, what is it that you've been pushing out? It's not your fault. You were taught to see debt as an amount, something to fight, to pay, to run from. But debt is only an echo, a vibration that says, "I owe." And what you owe is not money. You owe a belief in your own separation from abundance. But tonight, you end that story. Because the truth is simple. You are not the debtor. You are the dreamer. And the dream can be rewritten. Imagine this. You lie down in silence. The world slows. And somewhere between waking and sleep, you begin to feel it, a warmth behind your eyes. It's the feeling of release. Like watching the smoke of something old finally fade. That's the beginning of freedom, not in your account, but in your assumption. Because all outer changes are born from inner surrender. You will not beg. You will not affirm until exhausted. You will remember. You will assume the feeling of already being free. When Neville prayed, he didn't ask for anything. He imagined as though it were done. He lived inside that scene until it felt natural. And then he released it completely. That was his secret prayer. That is what you are about to learn. This video is not a list of steps. It is an initiation, a re-entry into the self that already has. Stay with it, because by the end of tonight, if you listen, not just with your ears, but with your feeling, you will notice something subtle change. The weight will lift, the pressure will soften. And somewhere deep within, you'll know the old pattern has dissolved. You may not wake up to a miracle number in your account, but you will wake up different. And that difference is what draws new reality toward you. Neville said, "Change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live." So tonight you change your conception. You stop being the one who owes. You become the one who is already provided for. Every word that follows is not information, it's transformation. Let it sink into the spaces between your thoughts. Let it move quietly beneath your awareness, because when the imagination shifts, everything else must obey. Now, close your mental eyes. Forget the world for a moment and listen as we uncover the truth behind every form of debt. The invisible story you've been telling yourself. You think of debt as something outside you, numbers on a screen, amounts waiting to be cleared. But debt doesn't begin there. It begins with a vibration, the quiet conviction that you owe life something you cannot pay. You feel it when you wake. That small, nervous pulse beneath your ribs. It's not the bills, it's the memory of not enough. It's the moment you accepted lack as identity. Neville said, "You can't change what you feel yourself to be by fighting it. You can only change it by imagining yourself to be something else." So you don't fight debt. You reveal what it has been hiding. Debt is not money missing. Debt is imagination misused. The habit of picturing yourself as the one who needs instead of the one who has. You've been trained to measure worth in currency, to look at balance sheets instead of inner states. But money is not the cause. It is the shadow cast by your assumption of abundance or the absence of it. Every time you think, "I need more," you reinforce the identity of the one who lacks. And imagination, faithful servant that it is, builds the world to match. You check your balance hoping it has changed, but the balance mirrors your inner verdict, still owing. Tonight you begin to reverse that law, not by earning but by remembering. You are not the debtor, you are the dreamer, and the dreamer never owes the dream. What if right now you stopped identifying as the one who must pay and became the one who has already paid, not because of effort, but because of realization? The moment you assume it's already done, the vibration of owing collapses, the mind quiets, and a new world starts to take form. Imagine walking into your room. Nothing has changed physically, but something inside you has loosened. The heaviness of needing has disappeared. In its place, a calm certainty that life is providing in ways unseen. This is not denial, it's the highest realism. Because reality is always a reflection of what you assume to be true about yourself. The reason debt feels heavy isn't because of the amount. It's because of the story it tells. I am bound. I must fix this. And that story becomes the prayer you repeat daily without knowing. Every sigh of worry is a request to remain the same. Every moment of guilt renews the old contract. But now you can rewrite it. You are not asking life to erase numbers. You are choosing to withdraw belief from the identity of debtor. You stop feeding the shadow, and as you do, the shadow begins to fade. When you picture yourself free, don't strain to believe. Just play along for a few seconds. Pretend gently that it's already so. The subconscious doesn't question. It accepts feeling as fact, and soon that new feeling becomes your new normal. So tonight, when thoughts of bills or fear arise, whisper softly within yourself, "That was the old me remembering," and return to calm. You don't need to affirm constantly. You need to rest in the new assumption, because silence itself is a prayer. Neville said, "Be still and know that you already are." And when you know deeply that you already are supplied, the world begins to rearrange itself to prove you right. This is the foundation. You've exposed the illusion. You've seen the energy behind the numbers. Next, you'll learn how Neville transformed that awareness into power through a prayer hidden not in words, but in states of feeling. You've uncovered the illusion, the story of owing. Now you learn how Neville changed that story silently, without effort, without asking. He called it the prayer of assumption, but in truth, it was not a prayer at all. It was an act of being. You begin with quiet, no words, no pleading, just awareness. You sit or lie down. It doesn't matter where. The air is still. Your body begins to soften. You feel the rhythm of your breath. In this stillness, the outer world fades, and now you step into the sacred space Neville called the state akin to sleep. That twilight between waking and dreaming, where imagination becomes the only truth. Here, you practice two movements of the soul: assume, release. The first movement, assume. You do not repeat affirmations. You do not ask for wealth. You enter the feeling of already being free. Imagine a simple scene that would be true if your debt were already gone. Maybe it's you opening your phone, seeing zero balances. Maybe it's you laughing softly, feeling peace where tension once lived, or simply lying in bed, whispering, "It's done." Do not overthink. Do not try to make it vivid. Just feel the atmosphere of relief, that exhale that comes when the weight is gone. You hold that scene not with force, but with tenderness, like holding a feather in still air. It's light, effortless, and in that gentle assumption, you are already shifting timelines. Because the subconscious doesn't respond to effort, it responds to acceptance. Neville said, "Prayer is not asking. It is the feeling of the wish fulfilled." So you do not beg for freedom. You become freedom, quietly, inwardly now. Stay here a little longer. Imagine how your body feels when you no longer owe anyone. The quiet of your mind, the way you move, slower, calmer, certain. You are not waiting for something to change. You are resting in the change itself. That is the assumption. It's not visualization, it's identification. You assume the new identity, and the world obediently must conform. Now comes the second movement, release. After you feel the new reality as natural, you let it go completely. You stop holding the scene. You stop checking if it worked. You drop it into silence like a seed falling into soil. You trust that what is planted in imagination must appear in form. Release is the act of faith. It's the surrender that says, it's already done, even if I don't see it. And in that release, something mysterious happens. The energy of debt, the tension of wanting, dissolves, because the mind cannot serve two masters. When you are full of the feeling of having, there is no space for the vibration of lack. From this point on, you no longer imagine to fix reality. You imagine because reality has already changed. You become the one who lives in the answered prayer. You no longer talk about becoming debt-free. You speak and move as the person who already is. Every breath reinforces the assumption. Every silence renews it. And soon, the outer world, bound by the law of correspondence, begins to align. You will see it, maybe as an unexpected opportunity, a cancelled balance. A moment of grace that rearranges what logic never could. But none of that matters yet, because your true work is finished here, in consciousness. You have assumed, you have released, the seed is sown, and all that remains now is rest. Neville's hidden prayer was never about asking God to give. It was about realizing you already are that which you seek, and from that realization the universe cannot help but comply. Now the room is still. The world outside has softened into shadows, and you are ready to begin. Tonight is not about effort, it's about remembrance. You are remembering the version of yourself that never owed, never lacked, never feared. Lie down. Let the body sink. Let gravity do the work for you. There is nothing to control, nothing to fix. You are entering the inner temple, the place where imagination becomes creation. Your breath is steady now. Inhale gently through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. With every breath, the noise of the day drifts further away. You are no longer a name or an address or a number. You are awareness itself, quiet, vast, endless, and in that silence you will create. Close your eyes and imagine a single, simple scene, something ordinary, something that would only be true if you were already free. Maybe you are opening an email from your bank and you smile. Maybe you are telling a friend, it's all cleared. Or maybe you are simply sitting in sunlight, feeling the calm of completion. Don't struggle to see it. Don't force details. Feel it instead. Let the scene breathe. Your imagination knows what to do. Let it build itself. Now, bring your attention to the feeling inside the scene. Not excitement, not disbelief, but peace, the kind of quiet joy that feels natural, the kind you don't even question. That's the key. Neville said, you must enter the dream as though it were already true. So right now, you live it. You don't hope. You don't wait. You simply become the version of you who already received. Notice how your body responds to that shift. The chest loosens. The breath deepens. You can almost feel your skin hum with lightness. Stay here. Stay until it feels real enough that the outside world begins to fade. When it does, whisper softly, it's done. Not as a command, as a statement of fact. The words are sacred only because they carry belief. It's done. That is the password to creation. Now let the scene dissolve. Let it float away like mist at dawn. You have impressed the image upon the subconscious. Your work is complete. From here, your only task is rest. Because the moment you surrender to sleep, the deeper mind begins to work, rearranging conditions, dissolving obstacles, aligning the outer world with the inner assumption. This is why Neville called sleep the gateway to heaven. In that space between thoughts, creation is effortless. It obeys your last feeling. So, as you drift, choose that final feeling carefully. Let your last conscious emotion before sleep be gratitude. Not for what will come, but for what already is. Whisper again, "It's done," and mean it. If thoughts of debt try to return, do not fight them. Simply watch them fade like clouds crossing a vast sky. They have no power now. They belong to the self you've outgrown. The subconscious accepts only what feels true. And tonight, truth is abundance. When sleep takes you, it will take your assumption with it. And by morning, life will begin to echo it back to you. Maybe as an opportunity, maybe as a release, maybe as peace. But it will come because law demands it. So rest now, dreamer. The prayer has been spoken. The seed has been planted. And in silence, the unseen world is already moving on your behalf. Sleep deeply. Rest easily. You have already crossed into the new. When the prayer is spoken, when the feeling has been assumed, there comes a moment that most people miss, the moment of release. It is the quietest part of the process and the most powerful, because what you release, the universe fulfills. What you cling to, you keep away. Now you are lying there in the stillness after imagination. The scene you built is fading. The last image of your freedom flickers gently behind your closed eyes, and instinctively the mind tries to hold on. It whispers, "Don't lose it. Keep visualizing, keep working." But the law doesn't respond to repetition, it responds to trust. Neville said, "You must have faith in the reality of your unseen assumption and walk as though it were already true." So here, in this delicate silence, you do the most radical thing possible. You let go completely. You stop trying to make it happen. You stop wondering how. You stop checking when. You surrender the entire outcome to the intelligence that breathes worlds into form. Release is not indifference. It's sacred confidence. It's the knowing that your inner work is done. You are no longer planting. You are allowing the seed to bloom. The gardener does not dig the soil every night to check if the roots are growing. He waters, he trusts, he waits in peace. You do the same. Now, imagine yourself walking through your day tomorrow. Not as the one waiting for change, but as the one who has already changed. Your energy is lighter. You speak less about what's missing. You feel no need to justify or explain. You are simply free. When a bill arrives, you breathe. You say softly, "The old story is fading," and then you move on, unbothered, as if the outcome were already secure, because it is. This is the state Neville called living in the end. The end is not a place you reach. It's a feeling you rest in. It's the quiet assurance that says, "This is already mine." Every time you release the urge to control, you open a channel for the unseen to act. And that unseen power, your own subconscious, will move mountains you could never lift with logic. Emails, phone calls, ideas, coincidences, they all begin to align in ways your rational mind could never predict. And yet, you'll recognize it when it happens, because it will feel like flow, ease, grace. That's the texture of divine rearrangement. Neville said, "Your faith in God is measured by your confidence in yourself. So trust yourself. Trust that the version of you who felt freedom tonight was real, because it was. It is. And now, as you walk through the days to come, carry this sentence quietly within you. I already received. Say it not as a hope, but as a memory. The more you rest in that memory, the faster the outer reflection catches up. You are not waiting. You are watching. Watching the universe catch up to who you've already become. Let the rearrangement happen in silence. You do not need to chase it. You only need to remain open. And when results begin to appear, and they will, you will recognize them not as miracles, but as reflections of the self you dared to assume. That is the reward of release. The calm of the fulfilled prayer, the sweet power of surrender. So breathe deeply once more. Whisper softly, "It's handled," and mean it. Because the moment you release, the universe begins. Morning light arrives differently now. You notice it the moment your eyes open. Something in the air feels softer, not louder, not dramatic, just lighter. And maybe you can't explain it, but deep inside, something has shifted. It's not that your circumstances have suddenly rewritten themselves overnight. It's that you have, and reality is now rearranging to match. The first 24 hours after assumption are sacred. They reveal the echo of your new state. You may feel a strange calm where worry used to live, a quiet confidence that doesn't come from reason. Or maybe you'll notice little coincidences, a message from someone you haven't spoken to in years, a refund, a forgotten credit, a cancelled charge, or simply a wave of gratitude that has no logical source. Don't question it, don't measure it, just observe. These are the tremors of creation catching up to consciousness. They are the universe whispering, "I heard you." Neville said, "Signs follow. They do not precede." So you do not chase proof, you become the proof. All day you carry yourself differently, slower, steadier. You speak less of problems, you think less about what to fix, because something deep in you already knows it's handled. That knowing is your new currency. When the old self tries to return, and it will, when thoughts of what if or how soon appear, you smile. You say inwardly, "That was another lifetime," because it was. You no longer feed the vibration of owing. You are now anchored in the vibration of having. Remember, manifestation is not a race, it's a reflection. And reflections take time to settle into focus. You are not waiting for reality to prove your power. Reality is waiting for you to stop doubting it. So today you practice stillness in motion. You move through your day as the fulfilled one. When you buy something, you do it with peace, not guilt. When you look at your account, you do it with curiosity, not fear. When someone asks how you're doing, you smile and say, "I'm in a good place," because you are. You're no longer reacting to the old picture. You're living from the new film already playing inside you, and that inner movie is magnetic. It calls to it everything that matches its tone. People, opportunities, resolutions, balance. This is the unseen 24-hour shift Neville spoke of, not out of fireworks, but the subtle reprogramming of identity that sets everything else in motion. Sometimes the first sign is not money, it's peace, it's clarity, it's the sudden ability to breathe again without tension. Don't underestimate that, because peace is the first proof of alignment. And peace always precedes provision. You have stepped into a different current now, a current that doesn't ask, "How much do I have?" but whispers, "How much can I allow?" In this new current, things come effortlessly, because you no longer resist. You no longer identify as the one who must earn. You identify as the one who already is. So tonight, when you lie down again, don't repeat the ritual in fear or repetition. Do it in celebration. You are simply reaffirming what is already real. You don't pray for manifestation anymore. You rest in remembrance. Say once more, softly, "I am already supplied." Let it echo, let it be final. Because by now your imagination is not asking, it's commanding. And the universe, as always, obeys the feeling that you persist in. 24 hours have passed, and the world is already responding. The night is quiet again. The same stars look down, but they look at a different you. Something subtle has shifted. You are no longer the one who asks. You are the one who knows. You've seen it happen in feeling first, the soft exhale of relief, the sense that what once felt impossible now feels obvious, natural, done. That is the miracle. Not the money, not the numbers. The miracle is you remembering who imagines them. All creation begins where imagination rests, and you have learned to rest. You've walked through the silence of release. You've watched the world begin to answer the vibration of your new identity. And now, the lesson of this journey becomes clear. You never needed to earn freedom. You only needed to assume it. Neville said, "To be conscious of being rich while poor is to begin to change your state." Tonight, you are conscious of being supplied. That consciousness is wealth itself. It is the root from which every form of abundance will grow. From this point forward, you live differently. You don't think in terms of lack or later. You think in terms of now. When you speak from fullness. When you walk as one who already possesses. When you dream not to escape life, but to guide it. Notice how the world begins to mirror that shift. The right people appear. Paths open quietly. Solutions find you instead of you chasing them. Do not call it luck. Call it alignment, because luck is random, but alignment is law. And this law, imagination creates reality, is unbroken, eternal, exact. It works through everyone, for everyone, always. So tonight, you can stop searching for methods, stop waiting for signs. Stop measuring time. You are already in motion. The current is already carrying you. All you need to do is float. Whenever fear returns, remember this truth. You are not starting over. You are remembering again. Close your eyes, breathe, and whisper the words that have rewritten worlds before. It's done. That's enough. That's always enough. Because faith is not noise. Faith is silence, trusted. From now on, every ordinary act becomes sacred. Drinking water, paying a bill, opening an email, because each moment is proof that you live in a universe responding to your inner assumption. You no longer need to pray for abundance. You are abundance praying itself. If this message found you tonight, it's not by accident. It's memory calling you home. You created this moment long before you press play. So let the words fade now. Let the music carry what language cannot. You are supplied, you are forgiven, you are free. And as you drift into sleep, know this: somewhere beyond sight, your new reality is already forming, quietly, perfectly, faithfully, waiting only for you to open your eyes tomorrow and recognize what has always been yours. Imagine only what you wish to see realized and believe in its reality. Neville Goddard. Good night, dreamer. Rest in abundance, because it's already done.